Hello and welcome to WRLDS TV. We are streaming from the Stockholm studio at our usual time of Thursday, 5 p.m. Today we're going to focus on wearables. In the studio today we have Mats Horn. He is the founder of Tinitell. It is a wearable phone and GPS tracker. We're going to talk a little bit about how to keep kids away from the devices and also how to give parents a peace of mind. So, if you're watching, make sure you drop in your questions in the comments box. We do respond to all questions either during the show or afterwards. So ask away. We are answering questions on both Facebook and Twitch at WRLDS Creations. Stay throughout the show. It's a 1-hour stream. And Chris will be taking this seat in just 2 seconds. For now, we're going to dive into tech news.
I'm coming along.
Come on in.
Sweet and perfect. Let me get my computer all settled in. I think we are rolling okay. I will follow the Facebook feed, by the way. So if you should have a question, just ask me, and I will forward it to our guest. I will forward it to myself occasionally, because I can also answer a few questions, like simple math questions. Great.
He's your math.
He's got you. I know everything about.
Yeah. What can I answer?
Simple numbers. You can answer everything that I can't answer. So together we're gonna be able to answer everything.
Everything.
I'm probably gonna forward most questions to you.
Most questions.
Yeah.
Okay, bring it on. Bring it on. I was ready. I made some slides. Check it out.
You made some slides.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah. I thought we'd talk about wearables.
Wearables.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna move a little.
Are you wearing any, by the way, before we get started?
Am I wearing wearables? Well,
Yeah.
I am wearing a shirt, which is very wearable, and also I'm wearing pants. But I am absolutely. I think that's not what you're really.
It's not so much what I was going for.
No,
now.
it's not what you were going for. Typical. No,
Yeah.
I don't wear any wearables actually.
You don't?
No.
As a philosophy?
No, not at all.
Okay.
And you remember we were talking about biohacking just very recently. That's something I'm very interested in. But I do think that for that to work, again, we were talking about the problem with information today in depth. And I think there's a lot that we have to do when it comes to blockchain and stuff in order to be able to really utilize that sort of technology at a good level.
No good.
And as I'm going to side step here.
Okay.
It's Movember, guys. Get your mustaches growing.
I am.
Yep.
Yeah. Should we go for a close-up?
I'm going to fix it. I didn't have time to fix it before, but I can actually do this now. I'm so proud of myself.
Show it to this camera. We need a... Yeah.
There we go.
Can I twirl you?
You can twirl me.
Both?
Yep.
Oh, so much handle.
Right?
Very nice.
I'm so proud. I never thought I could do this, but now I could.
Yeah. Do you like my one?
It's sweet.
Yeah, you're right. The right one's a little longer.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer. I have to fix it.
Yeah, cool. Well, nice work.
I really never thought I would be able to do that. So I'm really proud of myself. So if I look happy, that's why.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just like the lines pulling up your face as if it's an implied smile.
Oh my God, that's true. That's true.
Genius.
You are smart.
Yeah. Also genius.
Also genius.
Fitbit watches. Are you familiar?
I am familiar with Fitbit.
Okay.
Let's go to news.
Yeah. Did you know that Fitbit data led to an arrest in a murder case?
I did not know that.
Okay. I'm gonna read someone else's copy. Okay.
All right.
I don't even know how to summarize this. This is like plot after plot after plot. Okay. So Fortune, the magazine, reported how a Fitbit watch was able to help in a recent case implicating a suspect and turning the case from suspected suicide to suspected murder.
Ooh. That's harsh.
Yeah. When 67-year-old Karen Navarro was found dead, stabbed in the head and neck, I have to do this. They have no imagination.
I feel it.
In her San Jose home on September 13th, it was clear to investigators that whoever killed her staged the scene to look like a suicide. Blah-de-blah-de-blah.
I mean, how do you stage? If you commit suicide and you stab yourself in the neck, in the head, isn't that like? Wouldn't it be in the beginning there? You go like, oh, maybe, like, yeah, no.
Like, missed it.
Yeah.
Missed the.
Oh,
having never done it, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in their
I have no
head,
idea. I've never tried either.
Yeah, but they were able to track the murder victim's heart rate at the exact time of the killing, and that's how they caught the killer, because someone was passing through their house at the exact time that their heart rate stopped.
Wow. My God. Okay, interesting. First up, so be afraid, criminals.
Yeah, Fitbit's gonna get you.
Fitbit's gonna get you. The wearables are gonna change the criminal landscape. Also, I'm afraid now because there's gonna be so much data.
Guy.
You know that.
Yeah.
It knows everything, right?
I bet you know about this though.
I know.
Naughty yoga pants.
Oh, naughty yoga pants. Wait, so, naughty yoga pants?
Naughty.
I did
misinterpret. Like
naughty yoga pants. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You've been a
have
bad
a lot
yogi.
of them at home. Yeah. Every time I go to the yoga, I put them on.
Yeah. Do you? I don't believe you. But
that's not true.
Do you?
That's not true.
Okay. Yeah. These pants send an electric pulse to command you to bend your knee a little more. I don't know how I feel about this.
That sounds actually pretty cool. I remember my grandfather, he bought everything. I'm not sure if you remember something called TV Shop. They were broadcasting from America, but they sold all of this kind of everywhere. And it was these electric little things that were supposed to make you strong.
Yes. It was like a belt?
Yeah, they were, in this case, they have so many different versions of this. But in this case, it was really old because this was, I think he bought it in the 80s, beginning of the 90s. But you put them on yourself and you could exercise different muscle groups. Of course, that doesn't really work, but it's incredibly fun to turn it up to max and put it on the places where you would normally not think that an electric shock would hurt you so much, and it really does. It's incredible. Having brothers, this was one of the most fun toys ever.
Wow.
So they should probably rebrand that as a toy. The yoga pants.
The yoga pants, yeah. I mean, it sounds spiritual though, don't you think? To send an electric pulse to command you to bend your knee a little deeper. Tilt your hips a little higher.
You know what, I gotta say, I think that really works. Given that, I'm pretty sure
you would
it actually
do it.
works.
I mean, you'd have to, otherwise you'd just be like.
So wait, is it like a punishment? Like if you don't go down far enough, it gives you like an electric shock?
Oh yeah.
That's how it works?
It forces you to contort yourselves in ways you'd never thought possible.
Okay, I thought it was more, it relaxed you. But if it's a punishment, I believe it. No. I think you're going to go way down.
No
You've never
way.
been so much down before.
No way. One more thing to look at. Oh my gosh. I'm drunk. There.
There we go. Yep.
I learned the word for this and I've actually forgotten it. This is terrible. What do you call the thingamajiggies on the phone face? I'm going to ask Mats this. He's going to know the answer.
Yeah, he will definitely know the answer.
And if he doesn't know the answer, he'll say something really clever or like his own Tinitell take. But apparently, I didn't write down notes. This is terrible. Apparently, they're releasing more thingamajiggies on clock faces than ever before. Yeah. Toys. Also not recent news. But how would you feel about wearing this on the next episode?
Wearing this on the next episode.
Okay, what do you think it is, first of all?
Well, that's a good question. It's a transformer that turns into some form of thing you can shoot people with.
Ja, precis.
Ja, precis. Oh my God. I'm the master of toys. I bought them like, that's it.
Exactly. That's it.
But so this is some IoT something, doing something special. Is that true?
I thought you'd work it out.
Okay.
I kind of just took a picture.
So
Playmation.
Disney Playmation. Oh, Playmation.
Avengers.
Okay. So
like if you were to wear a heavy plastic shield and if you were to be able to evoke terror into your digital subjects.
Yeah. What would I do?
How would you do that?
I would,
and why?
I would do it with some form of electric bolt of lightning. But I suppose that this is actually some IoT connected, so you play with each other and you can shoot things and defend yourself.
Leave comments. Maybe these people know.
Maybe they know.
Nerby,
tell us, what is this thing? Also on Facebook, if you know what this is and can help me out here, I'd be really happy because
Oh, you got a math quiz too. 2 plus 2.
Okay. 2 plus 2. Oh, I have a question. It is 4.
Damn it.
Yes.
If you didn't know it, I would have known that too.
Yep, taking the easy ones.
Should we have an interview? Should we bring in a
I think it's time. I think we could also ask this question here.
Oh. What's the question?
Well, no, I mean we could ask Mats this question. What is this thing right here?
Oh,
all right.
He's He's coming on. It's the world interview time, and he's crawling on hands and knees.
Crawling on stage.
I'm trying to be quiet.
Subtle.
Slowly here. Oh, there we go. Beautiful.
Hey,
Beautiful.
welcome.
Hello. Nice to see you. Nice to finally have you in our little world's studio.
Yeah, it's great to be here, guys. Thanks for inviting me to the show. I'm excited about what we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
Nice,
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
We have
And
million
take
things
this
to talk
one.
about, yeah.
Okay.
And I have fixed your voice beautifully, as people watching can hear.
Yeah.
Do I have a helium voice or something fun like
No,
that?
superstar voice.
I really, this is something I really want to do at some point. It's just add these really weird vocal effects to cast. Like, what?
So
I think if we ever have, go on. Sorry.
Oh, you should tell everyone who you are in your words.
Oh gosh, I am for the purposes of this interview, an entrepreneur based in Stockholm, Sweden. I founded a company that we're going to talk about today called Tinitell. We made a wearable mobile phone and GPS tracker for kids, and that was a fun trip. I learned a lot of lessons, and I imagine that we'll touch base on some of those lessons today.
Yeah, definitely.
So today's going to be a little bit focused on startups and production. Is that
And
generally
wearables.
Wearables.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you've sold your product in over 80 countries worldwide.
Yeah, we did.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
a world inspiration right there.
It was a terrible idea, but we didn't do that. Yeah.
And you also raised like $5 million US,
Right.
right?
Right. We
Right.
did that too.
Okay.
Yep.
And you had this
Was that a good idea?
that
Dubious to
sounds
saying yes or no.
delicious to me. And you also had a really successful Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
You were really early
yeah.
on Kickstarter too, I think, right? I mean, not super early, but one of the.
It was the reason, or one of the the impetuses for me to start my company actually, because I saw all these business ideas coming up on Kickstarter. I thought, well, maybe I could do something there too. And just like Pebble had launched and made a really successful product launch there, I thought maybe I could do something like Pebble did. And that was one of the main ingredients for why I started Tinitell. I figured I'll just put it up on Kickstarter and see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's how it one of the reasons it got started.
And are you a super popular guy who can just command your friends and family to buy in, or did it go more public than that?
Well, I did command my friends and family to buy Tinitell.
With naughty yoga pants.
And I said, I could be shameful in the process, or I could just, forget about that for a while. And so
Cool.
I contacted everybody I knew. And I, without shame said, hey, I'm doing this project now, and I think you should buy the product. It's really cool. Even if I knew the person in question, was like totally not interested in consumer tech. I think that was one of the reasons why we were able to make a splash.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't really care so much about being careful and the different terms and the development.
Yeah, because you basically made your own category, right? Like your
Well,
product
yeah,
category.
you could say it's its own product category today, a wearable phone and tracker, sure. There was nothing like that on the shelves when we started, and now if you go to a tech store today, whether in the States or in Sweden, you'll see GPS tracker products and built-in phone watches for kids, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
Today.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess my vision is a little bit skewed. I don't know what Facebook and Instagram are providing me with, right? I'm in the industry, so, but yeah, my impression is that there's a lot more out there today than when we started.
Which was about 8 years ago.
Well, we launched on Kickstarter in 2013.
Oh, 13. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's really
5 years
early
ago.
before, yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super nice.
Mm-hmm.
Have you used Kickstarter before, Chris?
I have never used Kickstarter in any projects that I've started apart from Worlds. I think that this is the only company where we've gone in and used Kickstarter. And I think that's also that has been kind of my approach to it in a sense I guess also I was based in China for so long, right? So you have like you get like a factory approach to developing products in a way, and Kickstarter just never was an option. You know, growing slow, bit by bit. And trying to, like kind of.
Well, why couldn't you start a Kickstarter campaign if you were in China?
I guess we could have. It's just that we never needed to.
Yeah.
I mean, it never.
You had enough customers anyway.
Yes, kind of. And I mean, we were lucky. We had Vaboba, and we had a big distribution network that kind of came out of the first product like right away.
Right.
And it was able to be funded internally in the beginning. It was never that much cash to invest. I mean, it was a lot, but it was never something that basically my father couldn't handle at that time. And this is now 15 years ago. 20 almost. So by the time we were there, we could develop products and we could launch them on an international market without we already had the distribution network basically.
Yeah.
So, but with Worlds, it's a completely different story also. I mean, we really want to go out there and we love you guys. I mean, we did community oriented in a different way than Vaboba was back then.
Yeah, I think. So I think community is super important when you start a business, and Kickstarter's main role in that is to create a core community in the beginning. So many companies think maybe it's uncomfortable to launch on Kickstarter and want to go straight to retail shelves, but if you don't have a group of early adopters behind your brand, it's going to be very expensive and hard to get any type of momentum for your business. And a lot of people have already heard, the expression, you begin with early adopters, and then you have the early majority, and then you have the middle part, or maybe there's a middle part.
Those middle part.
Those middle
stuff.
people. And then you have
the top of the bell curve.
The top of the bell curve, and they have late majority and straddlers. But my point is that it's really important to get those people in the beginning. And I think thanks to us launching on Kickstarter, that's why Tinitell became not maybe so famous, but as famous as it became.
Right.
Yeah, because we were able to get some initial like splash and momentum from that point.
Yeah.
It kind of became a thing, right?
Was it parents who were intrigued at the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, it was the parents were the people buying the product. Sure. So they were the parents that aligned with our values.
Which was to control the kid.
Yeah.
Find out where they were at all times.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about doing some electric shocks in the van?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why we, when we launched the product, there was really nothing like our product out there. And not only did we, in a way, open the category, but we also had a very specific niche inside the category. So our approach was to not have a screen on the product, to make a stance. Like, we don't want our kids to be on screens anymore. And this analog approach spoke to the hearts of a lot of parents that were looking for more back to basic tech. And so it wasn't really, we tried to make it not so much about control and tech, but at the end of the day, what I learned was that actually parents, and this is a little bit sad, our customers wanted just the basic functionality of the product. We spent a lot of time in-house hypothesizing that our unique approach was really important, but
if you could say, what was your unique approach?
Yeah, well, it was a more simple wearable for kids than anybody else on the market even today.
And what was the features that you think those were what parents wanted? Because you kind of...
I mean, if you look at smartwatches today, Fitbits and Apple Watch, they're filled with step meters, pedometers, heart rate trackers, and in the kids' smartwatch scene, you have geo fences, which is a pretty cool feature, but we never made it. You have some kind of there's a flurry of friendship engagement apps where you can engage with friends through the smartwatch. There are actual games on the smartwatch. There's AI chat, which is kind of popular, so you can talk with Alexa.
But so they want all of that.
So our approach was to not have any of that and just have the phone and the tracker, and that was it. So instead of having all the features, we decided just those two features, and that's what spoke to a lot of parents, the simplicity of our offering.
Yeah, but you also said that was an issue because you were thinking about adding stuff, and it was kind of this core that was important.
What was your question?
Well, you were talking earlier about one of the issues you had with parents.
Yeah.
Because you were thinking so much about the different things that you had some idea, but in the end the parents didn't really want that.
Yeah, I mean, there's always this balance between optimizing your organization and your supply chain around exactly what your customers want, so that you don't waste any money by developing things that people don't actually need or are willing to pay for, and developing new things that are cool. When I reflect on Tinitell, I believe that we spent a little bit too much energy and time thinking about how to make the product interesting and suitable for kids in terms of design and features. Even though our approach was simple, we still spent a lot of time on developing that idea or the features and the feeling of the product. I believe we could have probably been more successful if we would have just focused on the simple, cheap and simple tracker and phone for kids, and not made such a fuss about things. But it's also easy to be smart when you're looking back on how something went.
Yeah, it's super easy to say something, and typically it's this convergence of so many different factors.
Yeah.
That actually causes something, and this I think is one of the things that that is my experience. You go in and you think you know shit, right? You come in and you come out of it. You often at some point you start realizing, you know what, I don't really know anything.
Yeah.
And it's like you move away from having these. This is what's going to happen. This is what we have to do, and you go like, what can we do right now, and what's our long-term vision? And that's the only two things you ever focus on, because what's going to happen in 2 or 3 weeks, it's incredibly complex. And you never know, and there's always something that you never even thought about that comes in and just wrecks everything that you were working on.
So the question is, do kids need to give consent to wear tracking devices?
Well, I believe that it's the responsibility of parents to know where their kids are. So where does the age limit go? Well, I mean, an 18-year-old is a little bit too old to have to track on an hourly basis. But if you have a 7 or an 8-year-old, then I think it's quite all right for a parent to know where that kid is. In fact, I think it's their responsibility to know where their kid is at every minute of the day. So somewhere between 8 and 18, the kid should be receiving more integrity. But that varies between families. So that's my answer to that question. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
When a parent is buying the tracker, what are usually their first words to kids, do you think?
Oh gosh, the first words to their kids
how do they present this watch? Like, is there a trick involved to get them to wear it, or are the kids just like, yay, color on my wrist?
They think it's cool. They think it's fun to be able to make phone calls. So of all the times when I observed when a parent would give their kid a Tinitell, the kid would be stoked about having a phone on their arm.
How old were the kids in general that were?
The average age was 7, 8 years old. And
like basically that period where you are a little bit too young to have your own phone.
Yeah.
And But now I think it's changed too. Like everyone have their phone, right? Even kids. I've seen kids like 5 or 6 years old have their own phones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, some parents give their kids smartphones at really young ages because it's more of a gaming console than a phone, right? But with Tinitell, we just wanted to focus on the communication part. I remember when I was a kid, I thought it was pretty fun to play with walkie-talkies. Did you guys ever play with walkie-talkies?
Yeah,
And I think it's the same experience with the Tinitell. Like it's like kind of a cool new communication device. Yeah. So that's
Could
the
you
feeling.
talk between them? Like, could you have like a multiple ones?
Yeah, yeah. You know, we didn't have any group calls and no conference calls. No conference calls.
I'm
That didn't
thinking
happen.
later for when we go rob a bank.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
This is like
Right.
Yeah,
mean,
2
so-
hours from now,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And that's like the ultimate tracking device, I think. Like the kids don't even leave their home. They just talk to each other from their dungeons.
Yeah, that's how the product works. Yeah.
Right?
Dungeon speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dungeon speak.
Yeah. Can you give some examples of dungeon speak?
Oh gosh. What would the kids say? You know, I think the most common use case for Tinitell was there like a pressure drop in here? It felt like
Whoa.
there was like a pressure drop, like we just submerged water or something. That didn't actually happen. Did
I
it?
didn't feel
I don't
it,
think
but
so,
maybe the
no.
gravitas of the question.
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the most common use case was kids saying, "Hey, I'm ready to be picked up from school now," or "I've arrived at school."
Okay.
So those two
Right.
applications, or maybe they would call their friend and be like, "Hey, you want to come over and play?"
Right.
And that was basically it.
So it's a lot of communication to the parent themselves
Yeah, and their closest friends.
and their closest friends. It wasn't like an opportunity to network with other Tinitellers.
Well, yeah, I mean, if their friends had Tinitell, then they could call their friends with Tinitells. So they
Yeah.
could have a Tinitell to Tinitell conversation. So that world exists now.
Does it?
Yeah, that world
cool.
is here now,
Yeah.
where kids can talk with each other
Yeah.
with phones on their
Yeah.
arms.
Right.
That's the world today.
Man, I
Yeah.
want to be a kid today.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
With Worlds too, I mean, you could just, imagine the
You
stuff you could do.
Do so many
The
crazy
pranks
things.
you could pull on people. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Right.
With the ball. Does it have legs, the world's ball? Do you have legs coming to it? That'd be kind of cool if you could like pop out legs and you could walk around.
Oh.
Yeah.
Show you the ball.
We're going to turn it into a living thing.
Yeah, right?
Internet of living things.
I like to see like a leg with a ball with legs. Yeah, I've seen this before. I'm joking. It's a funny thing. Yeah.
Can we switch the background a bit? Yeah.
Back to the balloons.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It says worlds there too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Subtle.
Yes.
Yeah,
Subtle.
it bounces, right? Can I,
Oh, yeah,
Can I
go
bounce
for
it a little bit? It's really bouncy
Yeah. 75% return rate. Yeah.
in terms of from
Like
sales.
if you drop it.
Oh,
no, return.
okay.
Just everything has to be about
That's
money.
not so good.
We have a 75% return rate, people. We are very proud. Only 75. We started out at 150%. Will you believe the progress we have made?
Bounce return rate,
Yeah.
just to be clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
yeah.
Okay.
You know,
cool.
Going back to some
Yeah.
of the experiences that I know that people really like to hear about, you've been talking about some of the things that you know, like looking back in retrospect at the journey. But if I ask you, like, turn it around, because we've been talking about the things that went wrong.
Yeah.
What if we start talking about? You talked about the marketing, but what are like the perhaps the 3 top things that you take with you on the continued journey from this?
Well, I think the largest lesson has been that, you know, I spoke about it with everybody around me as a project that was going to become a very, very big and successful company. And now in hindsight, I can see the fallback that came afterwards from that. So by speaking about something that was going to become a $1 billion company and that eventually didn't really have that prospect, really was a disservice to me and everybody on the team. I gave everybody the wrong expectations.
But
so,
I have to.
yes. So, all right. Ask your question.
Yeah, I have to ask you a question here because this is an important. Because I've been in the same situation a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because I'm really positive in a way. Like, and if I like, it's gonna be and it's gonna be this and this and that, and you have this vision far ahead. And I've also, because I don't think I've ever once actually reached that vision. That. But when you go back, because I think sometimes I'm always like, I had 1 year where I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Because you're leading people into something, and it just, you're responsible for them. You feel so much about the people that you're working with, and you really want them to become the people that they want to be. It's all of those things. And when you don't get there, because eventually I don't think you ever get there. You kind of judge yourself a little bit, but if you ask the people and you sit down with them, they'll go like, man, I love that journey. I wouldn't take it back for the world. And the fact that we had that vision is what made us come so far.
When you say vision, it kind of sounds like a mixture of vicious and vision at the same
vicious.
time. Vision. But I think you should. So you said that you were in it for the people when you were excited about a vision or sharing it with other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that wasn't the case for me at all, actually. And when I started Tinitell, I was more intent on creating a very big business, and sadly, as that was my goal, I saw the first 20 people in the company, the only people that I was working with, as a stepping stone in a really big journey that we were going to take. And now in hindsight, I wish I spent more time on just building the business as it was, right in that moment, and not thinking so much about the future. Vision can be great as fuel, but it can also be very distracting. So you have to balance those forces out.
Yeah, and that's a super great advice, I think, as well. Going back, you say your kind of initial vision, and when you gather the people around you, were they all kind of also fired up about making a big business? Was that like would you say was that their fuel to join you, or do you think was it the product? Was it other things as well?
I think it was more about the product for most of the people, and not so much. And yeah, I mean, because they liked the product, they were excited about building a large and successful business. Whereas I was probably more interested in a variety of products that I was thinking about.
Yeah.
And so also I was the founder of the company, so I owned a large portion of shares, and everybody else in the company nobody had more than 10%. So it was very much my show, so to say, right?
Yeah.
And so I was more excited about the prospect of this company going into becoming something very big.
You were percentually more happy about it getting big.
Yeah, I mean, not only because of monetary reasons, but also because of work pride. And those elements of the journey.
That is really interesting. And this is a classic question, but one that I feel a lot of people actually don't think about when they start their own business. How did you manage your different roles? Because you say here you were an owner, a majority owner, probably, and well, you didn't say, but I'm just guessing. And you were also probably on the board.
I was.
And you're also, the CEO. And at the same time, in a startup, you have a lot of different active roles, functional roles in the company. How did you manage to kind of balance these out, or if maybe you didn't, but like just thinking about this.
Right. Well, I during the history of the company, I learned how important it is if you have. We had very many developers building software, and there was a period of time when we didn't have a team lead for the software development, and that became a total mess. And people left because they weren't being seen and taken care of, and their work wasn't being seen, and they weren't respected. And it's so important to have time to spend with your with your team and really dig into what are you working on? How's it going? Can I help with anything? If you don't have time to ask that question every day, then every day during lunch or in the morning, then you don't have enough time with your team, and you need to reorganize things so you have that time. In a small company like Tinitell, we had a board, but I don't think that a board is really important at a beginning and the beginning stages that we were at.
At least probably not if you're the CEO and owner, because ultimately, but it is of course a little bit different if you have multiple owners and you have no majority owner and they don't really have the direct stakes in the operations of the company.
I mean, a board is ultimately there to represent the owners, and so if
also in an overt way to protect the CEO, which
or oust him or her.
Yeah, but in a way, at least make sure that the owners can't just switch a CEO immediately, you know, and they actually have to go through a board of directors, and well, they can, but you can, you have that sort of middle layer that makes sure that the owners don't have too much to do, too much influence directly into the company.
Yeah.
This is something I've seen that we've had problems with a lot, which is all of these different positions and managing them in a good way. But yes, that's really interesting. I think you put the finger on one of the...
on what?
On something that's really important there, and also really hard, which is the management of the personnel and the people.
Yeah, you have
in
to
the
have time.
business.
Have to have time and it's so easy to forget about that, as it's like, you know, oh, we'll think about that later. People are responsible at this company. They can manage themselves. You know, that's so easy to think like that about your team, but that's not a good way to think if you want to work together and really see each other's work.
Yeah. And so a tip here then to crystallize it is to make sure you have the time to go out. And what would you know, going back, what would you have asked every day? You know, is there a particular question, or is there something you would kind of want to dig into?
One question that I would ask myself every day.
One
question.
question.
Yeah. Okay. One question that I would. Well, I mean, if I was going to ask my employees, ultimately, it'd be asking myself as well the same question, right? So I think I would say, are you being pragmatic enough?
Are you being pragmatic enough?
That would be the question that I would ask myself every day.
Can you ask the audience that?
Are you being pragmatic enough?
Well, are you?
Are you?
Yeah.
Don't just sit there. Type something.
And I'm digging out stuff here from that question, and if I'm completely wrong, then just you know, interrupt me.
Yeah, sure.
But so basically, that kind of ability to make to let other people make decisions as well, and hear where do you want to go, and listen in that, and kind of build the vision together with the people in the company in a way.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're fishing after when you're asking those questions, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't really have any master plan in terms of how that question would be distributed in an organization, but I thought that, like, just you know, kind of off, you know, kind of like that. Say what word you're thinking about. That type of exercise. You know, what question would you ask every day? Yeah. So that would be it. But so I think that's an important thing to think about in a startup. It's easy to get lost in dreams.
Yeah, it's absolutely is. Yeah.
So that's.
What's your next dream?
Oh gosh.
Any ideas?
Well, I have some themes. I have some themes that I think are interesting. I've always been really interested in conversational robots, or like how software can make our experiences flow easier. And I was reflecting on that today, actually, because we talk about this singularity sometimes, how like we'll go through this software singularity and we'll no longer know what's being developed. And I was thinking, a long time ago, I was thinking, what's cool about the speed of technological development is it's not necessarily limited by how fast we develop new code, but often more about how we're able to understand and integrate that new technology into our daily lives, right? So it's like you could develop some really cool software, but if you don't really know how to use it every day or whatever in any application, then it doesn't really matter. It's once that new technology becomes, you can integrate it, then it becomes to matter. And so I was thinking, what's really cool about these conversational bots?
What do you mean by conversational bot? Can
Well,
you clarify?
well, like if you have some software that makes it easier to manage customer support,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah, actually, Worlds has a chat bot. If you
Yeah, like
if you
a
write
chat
a
bot,
message
yeah.
into the Worlds page right now, you'll start talking to the chat bot.
And so I was thinking, it's kind of cool how, as they say AI, but I think that's like more of a automated intelligence. As that begins to develop, we won't really know the limits of technological development. It'll be this. Let's see here. The software will just kind of seep into our lives, and we really won't know how technology is being used to help us, because it's kind of just automatically helping us in the background. Yeah. So anyway, I'm really interested in that kind of technological development.
Yeah.
So I'll probably do more work in that area
Okay.
moving forward.
And you said you had an idea. You said before that you might have a new business idea
Yeah, well,
to pitch.
It's time to launch it.
Okay.
Pitch it.
So
Yeah,
listen
okay.
up. Are
So-
you ready? Are you ready? Sorry, I'm putting you in the spot.
Where?
Are you ready to
I'm ready.
Pitch.
I'm here at least. So
Okay.
might as well.
Okay.
How many people are watching us right now?
I'm trying to get a number
It's a little bit
because
hard.
I'm going.
And
I had to reboot everything.
I think we lost a little bit of viewers
Yeah,
because this is now the second.
44 on one page.
Oh, okay.
Very-
Okay, that's
yeah,
enough
yeah.
people for
That's
me to
enough.
pitch this
Yeah.
idea.
Pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a really small idea, but I think it can make a big impact.
Okay.
And the idea I had was how I sometimes when I'm invited to a conference call, I'm a few minutes late,
Yeah.
and I'm a little bit embarrassed about that. Also, I'm embarrassed about when I invite people to a conference call, how upset I can get when people are a few minutes late. I'll be like, "Oh, why are you 5 minutes late? This call started," and I'm late all the time. So there's this frustration that comes when people don't arrive to meetings on time. And on top of that, if you're in a big organization, there's a lot of wasted time for all of your employees every year.
Yeah.
Because meetings don't start on time.
Yeah.
You're sitting there, okay, meeting was supposed to start now, but 10 minutes late, and you have 5 people waiting for this 6th person, and then, waste. And you could easily do like a calculation of average minutes per week per employee, and then, look at all the savings we'll make. So my idea is all the conference call software that I know of in this world requires you to click in. So you get a link,
Yes,
and you have
right.
to join the call. You click, and it requires an engagement from every participant. And I was thinking, like, sometimes I kind of fake that I'm in my office chair, and I'll just be like in a more comfortable chair, maybe in a sofa,
Yeah.
or maybe outside walking
Yeah.
to my next meeting. And I was thinking, like, why can't the meeting just call me when I'm
Nice.
on my way to somewhere?
Yes.
Everybody has a
Yes.
phone, right?
Thank you.
Everybody has a phone.
I like it.
So a software that basically
Boom.
calls the participants of the meeting instead of everybody having to call into the meeting.
I love it. What do you think, viewers?
Yes.
Give us some likes. What do you think?
Yes, and ask some questions.
Silence.
I like that. That's really good.
Silence, okay.
Well,
Silence.
we are
Yeah.
excited.
Mic drop,
We're excited.
Okay.
No,
Really?
but those small minutes mean so much, actually.
Yeah.
Everything actually matters, specifically in startups, but in large organizations, there's just so much waste.
So much waste. Yeah.
And and there's another thing that maybe could be added on to that, which is something that I'm often when we sit in meetings, it's really important to separate roles. Like we talked about a little bit. Okay,
Like
I'm here as this.
Leading the meeting, the secretary of the meeting.
Yes,
Something like
also
that.
organizational stuff, but
Right.
even
Yeah,
Because
you
if you're
guys
in a-
are like a
if
bunch
you're
of
in a small-
cousins and second cousins in your business. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
it's
know,
like, not
am I-
second cousin,
and you-
I'm in
and you
charge
go
of
there,
marketing. Yeah.
Am I, you know, are you an owner? Are you this role? Are you this? Being very clear on what different people come in as, actually, and what sort of thing, and what you want out of the meeting. And this is what people talk about a lot, but we still keep doing that mistake. Some people tend to come into a meeting thinking it's a brainstorm. Right?
Yeah.
And other people come in with the anticipation that a lot of decisions is going to be made.
Yeah, right.
You know, and you get all of that mess. Why I like Agile actually is because it kind of gets around a lot of these issues by having very focused, short meetings. But I still think that maybe that's something that could also be integrated into it somehow. That, okay, you just assign this is like something you get.
Robert has a suggestion.
Okay.
He says he
cool.
loves that idea.
Okay, great.
He can see it working.
Yeah.
Or
Or
have
right.
an AI chatbot that joins the meeting on time, records the section you missed while it waits for you to join.
Oh, okay. So the person that is late, but then that person who's late may not be able to provide value during the rest of the meeting because they haven't heard the first 10 minutes.
Exactly. Which is why you have fika at the top of every meeting.
So you need to have that the super fast squirrel
Thank you,
voice
Robert.
to catch up to the rest of the people in the meeting. But yeah, that's a good idea. Why don't we just, speaking of AI, why don't we just fucking skip meetings and let the AIs have meetings and make the
Our
decisions?
assistants will take a decision, make a decision on this.
Yeah, our AI, their AI can, and this is quite interesting because I know right now there are being developed these type of business decision AIs, right? Because we had so much data.
I mean, why not?
about
Just
businesses.
provide the algorithm and let it go.
Yeah, and a lot of these strategical long-term decisions are not necessarily. I mean, you have a goal.
That's super interesting.
Like what we talked about, right? You have this vision or goal or somewhere you want to be. I'm going to be careful with vision now, but you have this somehow long-term.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so interesting. Then we would ultimately be creating principles.
Exactly, we
principles
create
of
some ethical guidelines.
Principles on how to run a decision hierarchy.
Yeah.
And then it would have to understand these principles that we would set out.
Because basically a computer is much better. And when we have these midterm meetings, we're discussing what's going to happen in 2 months, 3 months. We're trying to lay the groundwork for a plan. Often that's what a CEO does together with a CFO. And you sit in a board meeting and you try to make educated guesses. The problem is we are so bad at making guesses. And we often make guesses on very limited data sets, which is typically only financial data sets. That doesn't really give us any form of real information about a company. But all of the other information is actually there online. So having an AI making at least probabilities.
Like C-3PO. There's
exactly like that. That's what this is.
Everybody needs a C-3PO.
Yeah, and he can also set people that are late for meetings. Maybe we could integrate this with
zapper system.
Yeah. And we could get some Tinitell wristband
and
on
massage for people that are on time.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Incentivize people. Nice.
I'm much more for
Make
punishment.
it compliment at the beginning.
Preferably corporal punishments or different things. But okay, fair.
Group punishments.
Fair. Group punishments. Those are the best. They work the best.
I'm really digging this idea. So what's the next step? How can the community help?
Community of Worlds?
Yes, Community of Worlds.
The Community of Worlds. Help with
with furthering this brilliant. Or do you want us to just back out? Where you just like?
I mean, I just had this idea for the conference
so
call just a few weeks ago, and because I was late to a meeting, and I was like kind of embarrassed and thought, why couldn't they just call me?
Totally. I really
I try to
like
deflect the blame, but
that's perfect. It
so
makes total sense.
any more ideas on the computer screen over there, or are we done there?
Come on, team.
Yeah, we really exploded into some wild ideas here, but maybe we can take it.
Is this a normal occurrence that somebody pitches a business idea?
No, it's brilliant though. It's brilliant.
No, but we tend to float out into these discussions about what's going to happen in the future. And that's what I love about this. And going back a little bit to one of the key things about a great idea that also is doable is that it needs to be something that people have a problem with.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of obvious. It needs to be something that could actually make a profit.
Yeah,
right?
It needs to be a business.
It needs to be a business somewhere. It needs to be something that you can actually feel is something you want to work with. And this is really important, because if you're going to be running an organization, even working in an organization, if you don't believe in the product or in this cause, right? Because every company is a cause to some extent, you're going to have a problem. Maybe the most important, most forgotten thing is, or it's easy not to say. Well, one is, can we actually do it? Which and how long time and so on. But are other people gonna do this and really think about that for a long time? Like you talked about, Tinitell early on had a niche, which I really loved.
Yeah, even before there was a category, we had a niche.
Yes,
yeah.
But it was clever, because by then Apple had announced that they were gonna do something relatively similar.
Yeah, actually there was nothing on the horizon.
There was nothing.
No, it was like 2 years before Apple Watch was announced.
Well, okay, but when I knew it,
Apple Watch announced. I think there was like rumors in 2014, and it launched in 2015.
Okay, stupid copycats.
Yeah, right.
Typical. But it's like it felt like an area where it's gonna be things. I mean, people have been there. There's always this. There are certain areas in where you are and where you want to move, where you can feel big companies are going to get in this area. For instance, you look at Worlds. I like it partly because I don't think any of these companies are going to make a ball. You know what I mean?
Make a what?
Make a ball.
A ball.
Right.
Right.
It's kind of completely outside what they. That world is outside of some of the main tech organizations and what they would think about in terms of IoTing someone's life. But I think there's an important thing to think about. If you had this idea, would Skype steal it right away? And
you
because they already
told everyone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't work. I think some people think like, oh, I gotta keep this a secret. But I don't. I'd rather just move on.
Yeah, and you've got a couple more suggestions too. So this is from Felix, actually.
Oh, great, cool.
Yeah, ready. That's always going to be.
I don't know if I've told it to him or this idea yet. So let's see what he says.
No.
What does he
say? He says you got to force start the meeting with your camera and mic, no matter what. If you're ready or not.
All right.
If you're ready or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So put your clothes on.
All right.
Yeah, you can get really embarrassed if you're, on the toilet or wherever you are.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, God.
Yeah, right. Totally.
Yeah. No, that literally happened to me. Like I was on a call today, and like this. It was meant to be just a voice call, and then someone's like, actually, I just wanted to show you a video of a screen. I was like, no.
Yeah.
It's so amazing when you have these options to just be impulsive during a conference.
What does one say when you don't want to be, if you're on a Skype call and everybody's got their video on and you're like in your bathroom.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, Mats, why don't you turn your video on? It's like, I guess the camera's not working. Is that the best excuse?
But then
really
you're like
tough.
the tech guy who doesn't know how to use
Yeah,
it.
right.
I mean, it's really tough because if it's probably not as bad as everyone is going to imagine when you say you're not going to turn it off.
I have an idea.
Because that's like when you go like, oh, I know.
Okay.
Oh, dude.
Great.
Kind of complicated, but you could say that. Stop vibrating.
Maybe
phone,
it's a
stupid
conference
phone.
call.
You could say that you could have a sticker on your camera to protect you from Snowden and the gang, and so maybe even if you don't have that, you always have water somewhere. You take a little water and you splash it on the camera, and you say, before you turn it on, you'd be like, hey, I have like this sticker on my camera, so it's probably not gonna work, but we could try.
Yeah.
Put some water on it. Oh yeah, it's super fuzzy.
Brilliant.
I have to turn it off.
Or a filter that just gives you a Movember mustache, gives you a suit and tie.
Movember mustache.
Yeah.
So you can
All
disguise
just a
yourself.
filter. Exactly. Power.
Yes. Yeah, this literally took me, I don't know, like 2 months.
Yeah. Oh, the Movember?
It's been a lot of work. And I feel right now, like it wasn't really worth it. I wish you could just
I've always thought I should do that, but I've never timed it right.
It's November 8th.
Yes.
Can you swing it? We can raise funds somehow for something.
Yeah. Okay.
You're good at that.
Raising funds. Yeah.
You should, for this idea.
I think
this is your startup
It
capital.
takes 2 months. I mean, it takes like 3 weeks to get a prototype. and then
Yeah,
it takes
right.
like 2 months to get like full bread.
Okay.
And the problem is with this type of product is that the feedback you get as you're getting to the finished product is horrible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, I've had the arguments with my girlfriend over this. It's incredible. It's been a fight to get to this point, and it's still not good.
Yeah.
I think it needs like another 2 months. I kind of want to get that, little bit
The twirl.
twirl. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you hear the talk about the yoga pants at the beginning of the show? The naughty yoga pants.
The naughty.
Yoga pants
Yeah.
that give you an electric shock.
Oh,
to
right,
the
yes.
knee.
Yeah,
Bend your
yeah.
knee, relax, relax.
Yeah, right. Super relaxing.
So one idea is to make everyone wear the yoga pants in the meetings. If they're late, shock him.
Nice.
Yeah, group
Make
shock.
it, let's bring this back to
Nice.
wearables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's back.
Very nice
Bring it back to
segue.
Part of the
wearables.
master
Very
plan.
nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very yogic too. Beautiful.
Yeah. There's something ironic.
Nice.
It's like the same. We were talking about you because you're working a little bit on yoga app. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm working on yoga.
'Cause-
Daily, do it.
Yeah. Because we were thinking about making, because there is something about anything that's supposed to make you relax that is tech or social media. You go like, but I mean, is it really? Isn't yoga the complete opposite of wearing some stuff that aren't you supposed to be away from that? Just breathe,
Yes.
no social media, no nothing.
Yeah.
So I was thinking,
Yeah.
why not take that the whole way and have an extremely stressful yoga app? We were talking about it. It's like, you have to stress down. Be like completely nuts about pushing people to stress.
Maybe it's like an added challenge to like
Yeah.
deepen your feeling of your body, but also distracting you.
Nice.
So it's like
So for yoga experts.
sensei challenge yoga.
Transcend
Exactly.
yoga.
Yeah.
When you can master that app,
Yes.
you can truly be relaxed in
Yes.
any situation.
Yeah.
It just keeps vibrating. It has this fake conference call that comes up.
Yeah.
All of those features.
That says you're late to the
Challenge
meeting.
you.
Yeah. You're late. Relax.
Yeah. Hypertension.
And the pants gives you shocks.
So we have 1 more minute.
One more
Okay.
minute.
1 more minute. Do
Okay.
you have any precious last words before we?
Not that I can think of right now. Unless you have a question, we could talk about a question, perhaps.
Okay. Yeah. Here's a question for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. Are you though?
I hope so. Yeah.
Okay. How would you feel about taking our World's Ball and having us track you for the next week?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Perfect.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Winner!
Yeah, cool. I don't mind being tracked.
Winner.
All right, cool. Can I
Cool.
start playing with it now?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Activate. Go.
And
I
maybe
don't have a phone
we
on
should
me.
be honest and
Yeah.
say we can't track through the
We-
balls.
Right,
through
right, right,
Splash, we can.
Oh, well, yeah, you can.
It has a live
yeah.
real-time GPS.
In the app.
I'll send you the instructions.
The
Oh yeah.
instruction book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no instruction book in here.
There is a little one, and then there's some videos.
You know,
Yes.
Tell you
the
more.
shipping method of this product should be
Yes.
someone running out to the customer and bouncing the ball to them. Right?
Yeah, agreed.
You know,
Or just like throwing it at them.
because this box doesn't bounce so well, so
Oh,
it's like
nice.
it's like a non-box,
Nice.
non-bouncy box. You got like
Nice.
something bouncy happening there, I think.
Nice. So can you sit here and like? Do you know this person? Oh, we're in the way.
Meditate.
Oh, we all gotta.
It looks like he's looking
We're-
at a new
we're
horse that he's
coming this way.
purchased.
Go towards
where?
Mats. Okay, keep going.
Okay.
Okay, Victor Stromberg.
Am I
Stromberg.
actually looking at something?
Victor Ström.
Oh, you're looking at the monitor.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. But what
That's
are we
wrong.
all looking at the money?
Yeah, we're looking
Oh
very
yeah,
closely.
yeah. We want to show his picture. We want to show his name. He's the co-founder of Beatly, so he's going to be on the show next Thursday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What does
Let's
Beatly
talk
do?
We'll talk about influencers.
Okay, what does Beatly do?
They make it all possible.
They make it all
Yeah, it's a
possible. Anything is
Stockholm-based-
possible with them.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
make
Stockholm
absolutely
based.
everything possible. That's, you didn't know about that?
Yeah, that's like AI up, to the next power.
This is the stuff. That's
Yeah.
that's what they do.
No, you can. It helps you connect people, especially in the music industry. Yeah. So find influencers
Beatly.
within music. Yeah.
Beatly's a
exactly.
good
So
name.
super
I like
good.
Yeah,
that.
it is a great name.
It is. It's like, does that really? It's like one of those like this URL's not taken.
I mean,
really?
you can have a music beat or beat somebody at something.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'll make it a verb.
Yeah, and it's
Ooh.
kind of like adverbial, Beatly. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. So that's next week.
We are gonna have to
You can-
change.
you
We're
can
gonna have
ask
to change now
questions.
to worldly
Yeah,
To
we're
world-
or worldly.
worldly. Yeah, worldly.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the hardest word ever to pronounce.
So, are we ready to close the show?
we are ready to close the shop.
Yes.
With the ceremonial pressing of the
Yes.
button.
Okay.
So we all have to put a finger
All at the
on
same
this
time?
blue one. Ready? Yeah.
Is it-
Okay.
Yep.
1,
So,
2,
Oh.
3.
Bye-bye.
bye.
See you later.
Bye.